You're standing in the aisle of a big box store, scrolling through a million listings, wondering if the next laser engraver you click on will actually live up to the hype, or just end up as another piece of dust on your desk. I get that hesitation. You don't want to waste hard-earned cash on a machine that sounds great on paper, but turns out to be a nightmare in real life. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's talk through the Extolern 20w fiber laser engraver and see whether it's the right fit for your workshop, your budget, and the projects you actually want to finish. First off, laser engravers aren't like a one-size-fits-all tool. The market is littered with hobby-grade diode lasers that can scorch wood but sputter when you try metal, and industrial rigs that cost more than a car, but can handle bulk production. The sweet spot sits somewhere in the middle, a machine that's powerful enough for real metal marking, compact enough to sit on a desktop, and reliable enough not to break after a few dozen runs. That's the promise. Extolern makes a 20w fiber laser that's just right for a home or small shop environment. The Extolern unit is built around an integrated mini fiber laser source, which is a step up from the cheap diode modules you see on entry-level kits. Fiber lasers are known for their efficiency on reflective metals like stainless steel, aluminum, and even brass. The device also comes with a red dot pointer that helps you line up the engraving spot before you fire the beam, which saves a lot of guesswork when you're working with small parts. Physically, the machine is about the size of a large desktop monitor, so it fits on a sturdy workbench without dominating the space, and the whole thing is marketed as portable. You can roll it to a different bench, or even take it to a client's site if you need to do on-site marking. Who should consider buying this? If you're a hobbyist who already dabbles in CNC milling or 3D printing and you've started to hit the limits of those tools when it comes to metal parts, this could be your next upgrade. It's also a solid match for a small business that needs to put serial numbers, QR codes, or branding directly onto metal components. Think custom-made knives, automotive brackets, or low-volume aerospace parts. The 20w power level is enough to create clear, permanent marks on most common alloys in a matter of seconds, which means you can keep up with small batch orders without waiting for a contractor to do it for you. On the flip side, if you're looking for a machine that will handle large sheets of metal, or you need deep engraving that cuts into the material rather than just marking the surface, the Extolern might fall short. Its working area is described as just right, which translates to a footprint of roughly 200 mm by 200 mm, fine for jewelry, tiny components, and nameplate-style work, but restrictive if you're trying to etch the side of a car door or a full-size aluminum panel. Also, if your production volume is in the hundreds per day, you'll likely outgrow the speed and duty cycle of a desktop unit faster than you'd like. What really stands out in practice is the combination of speed and accuracy that comes from the fiber laser source. Users who have moved from a diode laser report that the beam stays tight even after hours of use, so details like fine text or intricate logos stay crisp. The high efficiency and low failure rate claim seems to hold up. The laser diode in a fiber system doesn't degrade as quickly as a traditional CO laser, and Extolern advertises a 100,000-hour lifespan. In a real-world setting, that means you can run the machine daily for years without having to budget for a costly replacement head. The red dot pointer is also more than a gimmick. When you're aligning a 5mm stainless bolt for a serial number, that visual cue cuts down on misfires dramatically. However, there are trade-offs you need to be aware of before you plug it in. The limited working area, as mentioned, can become a bottleneck if you try to batch process parts that don't fit neatly within the frame. The machine also requires a stable power source. It draws a decent amount of current for a 20w laser, so you'll want a dedicated outlet rather than a surge protector. Safety is another practical concern. Even though fiber lasers are invisible to the naked eye, you still need proper eyewear rated for the wavelength, and a well-ventilated environment to handle any fumes from metal oxides that may be released during marking. The manual does a decent job of walking you through the initial setup,